Hi, welcome back to the allotment. It's the end of April and we've had quite nice weather this month. A couple of frosty nights, but because we've had some decent weather, I've been able to put some of my squash plants outside and harden them off. This is one of my babies. I've started treating them like my babies. When it starts getting a little bit cold, I'm rushing outside and bringing them in. But we've been given a forecast this week now. It's going to be really warm at night. Then after that we're into May. At the beginning of February you saw me put some of this down, and now I'm going to show you what that's done in that time. And I'm going to cut a little hole in it with a pair of scissors. And it means that this grass hasn't really grown very much. Obviously there's some grass there. Right, so I've cut a little hole in my mulching sheet and I'm going to use my little spade to just make a little hole in it. Nothing too strenuous.
This is you digging, is it?
No, I was going to say, this looks like digging, but in actual fact I don't consider this to be digging.
Well, you've got a spade and you're putting it in the ground. I reckon that counts as digging.
I'm not sure about that. This is after all, my no-dig squash patch method. So there we go, look at that, nice little hole.
Lovely soil.
Yes,
full of cutch.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter because I'm going to use my lovely weed matting. I'll take this opportunity to remove a few of these weed roots. Now, with my trowel, I'm going to just make that hole a little bit bigger. See, that wasn't much digging, was it, really? And trust me, this method does work. Right. This is my big tub of chicken poo, which I'm going to put a couple of trowelfuls into the bottom there. Squash really needs a lot to eat, so that's a good start for my squash.
Mummy's John's got scissors.
Thank you. Now, are you ready to go in, little squash? He says yes.
Have you been singing them lullabies?
I have found that squash really like lullabies, and I do actually believe that if you don't sing to your seeds they won't germinate.
Well, I haven't been singing to mine.
Well, I have.
And they did germinate.
I've been sneaking in your house and singing to them. Right, see, did you see what I did there?
No, I didn't. Do it again.
Threw it in.
That was your precious baby.
Yes, but what I'm doing is I'm loosening up the roots, and that will enable the squash to kind of start growing into the ground that's there. Use some of this lovely soil to just make a little mound, get rid of some of these roots again. Oh my goodness, look at that. That's rather nice. Now I'm going to put my little label in.
What does it say?
It says total eclipse. Oh. This is going to be...
The total eclipse of your heart.
Total eclipse of my fart. It's going to be a patty pan type squash, and because it's total eclipse it's going to be quite dark green, so more like a flying saucer courgette. That's the sort of thing we're going to get from this.
Will it have aliens inside? It
might do. Honestly, you can't get the staff. Makes funny remarks. Right, now I'm going to give it a couple more things that it needs. I'm going to give it a drink because that is essential. Squash plants are very thirsty and hungry. So I'm going to get quite a lot there. It's just disappearing into the soil, so that's going to be good. The other thing I'm going to do is give it some organic slug killer. Da, da, da. We tend to use organic stuff partly because it's organic, but also because it doesn't go into the food chain and
it doesn't kill the birds when they eat the slugs.
Yeah, and also look, kid friendly and cat friendly. When we had some of these in the shop,
hang on a minute, I'm zooming. It was Sophie. Here we go. She said it also works on rabbits, dogs, cats and children.
So if you have any of these pests in your allotment, this works just as well. Which brings me on to one of the very sad things that I have to tell you about this month, is that I've had a little bit of trouble with kids. Some of the local kids have been helping themselves to my tools, which is why I'm feeling a bit sad, a bit of a sad day at the allotment. as well as a happy day because the squash going in. I think that April is one of those months that you can get quite frustrated in the allotment. You're doing a lot of work, you haven't got much to eat, you don't believe anything is ever going to grow. Usually the slugs start attacking you. And
the weeds go crazy.
And then the kids nick your tools. However, I've got some very good news. So let me put some slug pellets down and finish this particular job, and then I will show you my extra special good news. My good news is this was my allotment. As you can see, working hard. And my next door neighbour hasn't cultivated their allotment for the 2 years that I've been here. And I was wondering when they were going to come down and do anything. This patch. As you can see, somebody started working on it. That someone is me. Because last week I was told that actually that's mine as well.
Yay!
So I'm so excited because I've just doubled the size of my allotment. So
what are you going to grow on your new patch then?
Oh, let's show you. I'm going to let my friend plant some stuff here. So we started just pulling up the turf a little bit.
You didn't do any digging there, did you, by any chance?
Oh, a little bit, not much. I got Rob to do it. Rob is my lovely partner. I've got a pumpkin ready to go in to a hole there. Basically, my plan for this year is to grow lots of squash.
You don't say.
No.
Squash.
I love squash.
I'd like to make some comments about these beans because these are the ones that were sown in January. They look pretty healthy, and these are the ones that were sown in what, mid-March?
Yeah.
And they're not far behind, you know.
I think you'll find these are ahead. Ahead?
They are ahead, but they're not hugely ahead. I don't think that 2 months gave you a massive head start, you know.
They didn't give me as much of a head start as putting the beans in than autumn would have. Okay, right, we've got some very pretty edges here. Provided.
They're very frilled.
Yeah,
Is that the variety?
No, it's not a variety. It is a bee and peen weevil.
Bee and peen?
Bee and peen. That's what it's called, bee and peen. Look it up. And you can see it's been at my peas. The vandals have taken away my pea stalks, but to be quite honest, it doesn't. That's all I've got to say about this. Oh yes, me and Angela, we don't believe that peas can be sown into the ground anymore. We are not willing to give peas a chance. We aren't.
I've sown some at home now, given up.
Yeah, this is rubbish. I'm going home today and I'm putting peas in root trainers because, quite honestly, without that head start at home,
these are the ones that were sown at home.
This is a whole packet.
Are the ones that were sown on the allotment, and there
rubbish.
aren't really any.
No. And because we've got this weevil, there's an advantage to sowing at home because a young plant that's only just starting to germinate isn't going to survive the weevil attack, but a nice healthy plant that's had loads of growth at home will. Oh, look Angela, look at my flowers.
Oh, well that is exciting.
Yes.
Let's see if I can zoom in on the flowers.
Bean flowers. Now that is worth being excited about.
Definitely.
I've also got a lovely crop of couch grass.
Yes, it's good stuff, that'll grow anywhere.
Oh, I've inherited some sage, which is quite nice, and I'm very pleased about that. That is sage, isn't it, Angela?
Yes, it is.
Oh, good. I'm glad I didn't say something
because
silly
you won't get this on the camera, but if you rub it and sniff it, stick my fingers,
sagey.
smell them.
Smells sagey.
It smells delicious. It smells
So my
like
plan
sage
is
and onion stuffing
This
without
bit
the onions.
here, I'm going to have a herb bed, which I'm always wanted. Ultimately, next year I'm going to also have an asparagus bed, and I'm going to put the seeds in at home now. I've also inherited some rhubarb. Now, there was more rhubarb on this patch until recently. Yes.
Oh, what happened to the rest of it?
There. Well, what happened?
Oh, there's no rhubarb there now.
There's no rhubarb there. What happened is it got removed by some more naughty allotmenters who thought this was not being
You can't
cultivated.
trust people on the allotment, can you? They'll pinch anything.
So ultimately,
Spades.
Angela, you've pinched
canes.
my rhubarb. Stolen rhubarb. we moved it before we thought we knew it was my patch. That, I think, is karma. Instant karma. So in conclusion, April is the hardest month, I think, because you get not a huge amount of reward right now. I've had a few crops of purple sprouting, wasn't as productive as I'd hoped. I mean, there's lots of potential going on here, and I'm very excited about the squash. But I think maybe I may need to go home and eat some chocolate now. Bye bye.